What's up, everyone? Welcome back here to another Infinite Galaxy. May I ask, what is your current command center right now? And what is your current strategy on the way you are upgrading your buildings? Let me know in the comment section below because I am dead curious on how you're doing things. Now, I can only share to you my experience here in Infinite Galaxy. So as I have reached CC30, there are many buildings in here that I did not finish right away on getting to 30. I have now accomplished a few buildings in here that are currently now in the level 30. I want to highlight some of these buildings because these buildings you might forget, but they are ultra important. These guys are ultra important buildings that once you get CC 30, you have to work on these. Now, my general tip here for your account is to get your command center up to CC 30 as fast as you can. Getting that CC 30 allows you to do many things. It allows you to have your research center to level 30. By having research center level 30, it will allow you to unlock certain technology within your research center. So once you have done that, you're going to be able to unlock tier 10 units. Now, tier 10 units is where it's at. That's the end game for this time. Getting that tier 10 units is the ultimate ship at the moment. Now, once I've reached CC 30, I've realized there are some buildings in here that, oh my god, I didn't really work on them. Now, there's other strategies for other players. What other players would do, like my good friend Solid does, he likes to level them up all evenly. Now, here's something that I do not like in that strategy. When you're trying to level everything out evenly, you're wasting your resources. There are certain buildings in here that are not really that important. But there are some buildings in here that are highly important to get. So, for example, let me show you this. This building in here, this Flagship Dock, right? This is something that is actually important, but there's a cap for this. Majority of the players probably would not be able to reach a certain level of flagship yet. Getting the flagship XP is a little bit challenging as well. I've seen high players in our servers that doesn't have max flagship, right? It's mainly because players do spread out their levels, their flagships level, their XP. Now, if you are smart and you're starting this game in the very beginning, you need to understand you got to work on one set first. So that one set is 2 flagship. Now, if you're smart, you're going to be able to upgrade this flagship dock and as well as maintain with the same limit or the same level as the flagship level. So as you guys can see right now at level 28, right, I'm capped here at level 56. So my main fleet is actually 56 for both because I have the ability to be smart and not use all my resets. So I didn't use all my resets because I am more of a calm and collected player. I don't just do things just out of the randomness sometimes. So getting your flagship dock, it is great to rank it up high. It is very important, but there's a certain level in there. If you know you cannot reach it with the amount of XP that you have, then let it go for a while. It's okay. It's not going to have a big impact because you can always catch up to this whenever you need to level up your flagship. So this building is a little bit more expensive. You can see it's about 5.8 million plasma. When you're seeing it around that range, it is a little bit more costly. All right. So the storage center, this is an important building because it allows you to protect your resources. But honestly, it's not really protecting a whole lot of resources. So this building, you can let it go for now. Don't worry about this unless it's being required by the building as a prerequisite. So this is probably going to be my last thing to upgrade. It's not really going to protect so much resources. The best way to protect your resources is to not open the resource tokens. Do not open this unless you really need it. So ignore that storage. center. Now, the military dock, this is a great one. You need to really work on this because it allows you to create more buildings of warship queue. By that meaning is that you can make more ships, meaning you'll have more to fight with or to use it on PvP or PvE. But there's a certain scenario in here where you kind of have to stop. So right now, I'm not going to get this to 30 right away because it's costing a lot of plasma. There are other buildings that are more important than this military dock. That 1%, it's nothing. I can live with it. I can live without it. So can you live without it? That's a question, right? Let me know. So there's a lot of resources. No, not for now. Now, the defense center, another one that you can kind of hold off to getting into 30. This is going to be one of those last one as well. Research center, definitely get it to 30. Exploration center, do you think this is so important? If you think this is very important, then we're going to have some serious talk. Yes, you do get some extra benefit or more benefit, right? By doing this, you get more detailed reports, faster movement speed. But honestly, this can hold off. But honestly, this is pretty cheap. This is relatively cheap. Cheap nickel, cheap plasma. I can work on this, but this can also hold off. But if you want to build this for points, then do this one then. Repair center, this is very important, which yet I need to work on. This is a very important building in here because it allows you to house more warship into your repair center. Let's say you get attacked. Your warship needs to go to your repair center so that you can repair it and it's not going to get lost. So this is another one that is important. So this is going to be the first important building that I want to highlight here. And these are not in order, right? This is number 1. Number 2, embassy is also relatively important and relatively cheap, but not too important yet in my book. But the embassy, if you get attacked and players needs to come into your base, this will allow you to house a lot more warships in your base. So this is another very important. So we've got 2 important, but the most important, in my opinion, is going to be the military headquarters. It allows you to bring more into the leadership. Now, here's big thing that I want to say about this. Why is this important? This is actually relatively cheap as well. In my opinion, this is most important, especially if you are playing the Galaxy Summit, Lost Star Cluster. It allows you to bring more leadership into the battles. So getting that to military headquarters 30, I think, is a very, very pro move. So the next thing that I'm going to be working on is 100% going to be the repair center because it's also relatively cheap and it allows me to increase my repair speed as well. This is going to benefit me when we are doing the secret signal, right? This is going to help me out with that one. Now, the dispatch center. So the main thing in here is just really for rallying relics. When you're rallying a base, you cannot really stack onto that. So there's really no point. Stacking is better because then you can generate much bigger fleet. Now, the outfitting factory. This is another very, very important. Super important. Now, I want to hold off in here. If you're not a spender, if you're not a huge spender, this is a building that you may be able to hold off because if you don't have the materials, the blueprints to craft to getting your gear to 11, then it's a relatively useless building. So if you're a spender, this is something that you are going to definitely work on. So I would say if you're in a peace state, your repair center is not going to be the most priority. I would say get your military headquarters number 1. Then second is your repair center. And then, of course, work on your embassy, especially if you're in a status of war. You need that. And then, of course, work onto your outfitting factory if you can. So the outfitting factory can, move a little bit of a different rank depending on your spending level. So all these are also kind of like situational between your kingdom, right? So for me, I really work onto the military headquarters because I want to bring in more leadership, especially when we're doing Galaxy Summit and we're doing the Lost Star Cluster. So the next thing that I'm going to be working on is the repair center. Some of these stuff, not so important. Your flagship dock, very important. You want to increase your flagship level. Gives you a lot of bonus when you're doing that. So flagship dock, but again, situational. If you have the capability to rank it up high, then do it, right? Do it. So you don't want to be like, oh, you're like up above like 4 level there and then you can't even catch up. So just kind of hold off, take the breeding room, work onto the other buildings or spend your resources into the research center. So now another thing that I want to talk about, since we're talking about the buildings in here, don't forget about your cannons. These are also very important. So like for me, I got to work onto my cannons right here. It's a relatively cheap cannon. So since I've got this cannon right now, that is my fort cannon, I need to work onto that. These are going to help you to protect your base. All right, so I do a laser, or missile. I'm not putting any kinetic in there. So that's my kind of a setup. So let me know, what is your current defense platform setup as well. Now, hopefully this video is actually very helpful to you. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your current strategy and what do you think is the most important building for you and for your strategy. Anyway, my intergalactic friends, if you like the video, consider subscribing, turn your notification on, and definitely smash that like. I'll see you again next time.